like her name wasn't Pocahontas. Her name was Matoaka. She was 12 years old.
I guess they left that part out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when she was kidnapped, raped, and taken to England and put on display kind of like a zoo animal.
I bet that's probably not the movie.
No, for years. Like, they paint it as this romance, and it wasn't. She was literally child trafficked. Okay?
Wow.
And I mean, so, I think that's one of those that if you've got a little girl, you pick your time when you think she's old enough to understand and go, one day you're going to read the real story of this, and it's not like this fairy tale, which is a fairy tale.
Well, I mean, I can... Yeah, these aren't historical...
No, they're fairy tales.
Yeah, they're not documentaries. Some of them could have been written in better taste. But, but also back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, if you look at the social climate, the shit makes sense the way it was written.
Yeah, I mean...
not saying it's right, I'm just saying it makes sense.
No, it's just... It was the...
And all of this stuff is important to talk about, and it's important to understand the historical context around it, because just like you guys have said, if you judge the shit back then by today's standards, nothing is going to be right. Mm-mm. But when you're talking about this stuff, it's important, so important, and nobody fucking does it, to be intellectually honest and tell the truth about all sides. Just like if you say, if we're going to talk about pre-1867 South, everybody's a slave owner. No, the fuck they're not.
No,
they're not.
That was the upper class, just like not everybody is,
That was the 1%.
There were also black slave owners.
Yeah, and there were and there were slaves that were not black people. Mm-hmm. I mean,
and contemporary to,
but nobody ever wants to mention that, because they want to berate this. It's okay for this stereotypical white Southerner to be the slave owner, knowing damn good and well that most of the white Southerners were fucking dirt poor.
Yeah, literal sharecroppers.
Yeah, literally working themselves to death.
I mean, my mammy, my great grandmother, she picked cotton. Her whole family did.
Yeah, my what is he up there? This is be my great grand.
And
yeah, he had a little farm up in Oil Trough. That guess who worked that? Him.
Yeah, they did. They were sharecroppers.
Until he got drafted into World War I.
That's what the fuck Johnny Cash's family was. Yeah. They were sharecroppers. I mean, and there's no saying that doesn't take away from the terribleness of blacks being enslaved, because I cannot, I remember I was way too young when I first watched Roots, but I've always been real curious about history, and I've always I had a college level reading level in the 4th grade. So I was always reading things like light years, and then my parents would go behind me and read it and go, oh shit, we should have not let her read that. I read North and South when I was 11 years old. Wow, was that a bing? I learned all kinds of shit that I shouldn't have learned. But my dad was mortified. So I remember the first time I was probably 8 years old when I watched Roots. And it made me sick. It made me so sad. It made me sick. When they sold the husband away from the family, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, and what I'm saying, I'm not...
Oh, no, and that's what I'm saying.
I'm obviously not saying that this bad shit didn't happen, because it's so dead.
They also depict... Every single white person in the South was plantation owner who had slaves.
That's just not the reality.
No. Yeah, like I said, we need to be intellectually honest, because that's the only way that we can learn. We can't learn from fucking rhetoric. We can't learn from the loudest cocksucker on Facebook screaming the same shit over and again. But we have to be honest about the whole thing.
Oh yeah, my family isn't an enrolled member of the tribe that we are entitled to be enrolled in, because my family had to pass as white, so I didn't lose everything. It absolutely happened.
Yeah,
but it happened on large scales, small scales. It happened, like there were middle class. It's just nothing is that black and white. I don't mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, cut and dry.
Right. Nothing is that, absolute.
Almost everything. Well, probably 75% of everything is in the gray area.
Yeah, and I mean, it's
some
just
things
like,
are obviously right and some things are obviously wrong. But
did y'all saw that picture of my grandfather that I animated?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How in the fuck did they pass for white?
I don't know, because he doesn't look white.
No, and it was the generation before him.
To be fair, my grandmother on my dad's side had that same complexion.
It's just crazy. It's like, oh, sure.
and she wasn't native.
She white.
She was Italian.
Well, so. But that what was it they call it? Like the Irish, when they call that the Black Irish, that was the people with your coloring. That the dark eyes, dark hair. They call them the Black Irish for the gypsy. I mean, I know you don't. No, I'm not. No, that's really. I'm not.
I'm glad you got a kick out of that.
For once, I wasn't poking at that. I wish I had now, but I wasn't. But that was literally what they called them, and they said that they came that because that was introduced into their gene pool as the traders and the raiders and shit like that.
Yeah, migrant type people.
And
which is not where my family was from.
No, but he if you ever want to piss him off, call him a gypsy.
Don't do that, please. Anyway,
please do, and make sure I'm there to see it.
Please fucking don't. All right, we got to call this one done.
Bye.
Bye, guys.